What's going on, everyone? This is Dom, and with the launch of the Xbox One X, we are getting 4K gaming running at 60 frames per second, which is a lot to brag about, especially at that $500 price point. And well, because of this, I decided to build something comparable in the PC realm that would not only have a console-like experience, but also that same 4K 60 gaming that we're getting on the One X. And how much do you actually have to spend to do something like this? Well, meet Flexbox. So there are obviously many different routes you can go with a gaming PC like this, but we are limited to the size in the case that I chose, which is the Fractal Design Node 202. This is a very compact case which nearly matches the form factor of the original Xbox One, and it includes an integrated 450 watt SFX power supply. As far as the processor inside of this thing, I decided to go with the Intel 7700K and the Gigabyte Z270N Wi-Fi motherboard because I thought it was a nice pair, and having integrated Wi-Fi is definitely a good thing if you're trying to get that console-like experience. I also threw in a 16 gigabyte kit of Corsair's Vengeance LPX 3000 MHz RAM, and I had a 240 gigabyte SSD from Kingston and a 1 terabyte hard drive. As far as the GPU goes, there are a couple of different options you can go with to achieve that same 4K 60 experience. I decided to go with the GTX 1080, but you could also opt for a 1070, but we'll talk about the differences between those two in a little bit. Now, to keep things on the same level as a console, I'm utilizing the Xbox One controller because, well, it pairs up with the dongle, connects to the PC, and works with just about every game. Now, I know some of you are going to pull your hair out because I'm using a wireless mouse and keyboard combo thing from Logitech, but really, this is a console experience. If you want to plug in a keyboard and mouse, feel free to do so, and it'll work just as well as you'd expect. For in-game chat, I'm actually using the Corsair Void wireless RGB headset, which I like a lot, and links to everything I mentioned in this video will be below in the description. It's also important to note that I'm not doing any overclocking in this build because of how small the case is and how limited the cooling is inside of that, so I just didn't feel like it was necessary either to achieve what we're trying to do here. But regardless of some of those other details and the overclocking, can this thing do what the Xbox One X will do? Well, the simple answer is yes, and it looks damn good doing it. As far as Geekbench goes, we have a single core score of 5,404 and a multi-core score of 18,138. Moving along to the Firestrike benchmark, Flexbox scored 14,942, but as far as gaming goes, well, this thing is a beast. I was easily able to run Grand Theft Auto 5 at 4K with a constant 60 frames per second, and that's at normal settings. I took it a step even further and bumped some things up between normal, high, and very high, and it still performed flawlessly. Surprisingly, I was able to do just about the same with the 1070 as well, with a few tweaking in the settings a little bit below average. Moving along to Rise of the Tomb Raider, this one was a little bit different as I had to do some tweaking between low and medium settings to get a constant 60 frames per second at 4K resolution. The 1070 just couldn't hang in Tomb Raider, and I had to bump the settings all the way down to lowest, and that just kind of justifies me putting a 1080 in this build because I like to have the extra headroom. But overall, in my opinion, whether you're playing at low, medium, or normal settings on Flexbox, it's gonna look miles better than the One X will at 4K 60. Of course, we'll find out for sure soon enough, and if you'd like to see a comparison between the Xbox One X and Flexbox, be sure to leave this video a thumbs up and drop a comment below. But if you want to build a gaming PC that can perform comparably to this console, you're gonna have to pay around $1,200, and that's actually just with 8 gigabytes of RAM and the 1070 GPU. If you want to bump it up to the 1080 and 16 gigabytes of RAM, you're looking to pay somewhere around the $1,600 range. So with the One X, the $500 price point is very impressive, but it depends on the quality of gaming that you want. Obviously, if you go with something like this, well, you're losing out on the native Xbox gaming experience and what Xbox Live has to offer, but you're gaining a full-on gaming PC and a media center, because it'll work pretty good for one of those too. But let me know which one you would choose, the Xbox One X or Flexbox. Drop a comment with your opinion below, and if you enjoyed this video, feel free to leave it a thumbs up and subscribe for more videos like this in the future. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. This is Dom, and I'll catch you in the next video.